Here we go now. So what you gonna do now?
Stephanie Bookish abandoned us.
Or did she?
And that's how we're starting this live.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I'm gonna say.
We need to hear her thoughts, okay?
She's like, no thoughts, head empty, because I read the summary. So, okay. Steph DNF the book. That's why she's not here. But she is here. I was gonna say, like, what is it when like you're a ghost? Like you're like
in spirit?
Not in spirit though. Like I was gonna say like aspirationally, but that's not the right word. But like you know what I mean? Like she's here
like astral projection.
I don't know. She's here like that. Okay. I wish I was a smarter person and I could think of things off the cuff.
She's on the astral plane.
Yeah, she's in the astral plane. She's commenting from a different world right now. Anyway, the point is, hello, everybody. Hi. We are talking about the House of Flame and Shadow. This is the last live show for our Sarah J. MAAS-A-LONG that I don't have a copy, but if I did, I'd be showing it, okay? That I'm glad that we did this together. You know, what a ride, what an experience. But, you know, I'm also glad that we're done. I'll say it. You know what I mean?
I feel like we need to calculate how many pages we've read, because...
For the whole entire thing?
That would be crazy.
Ooh, let's guess. That's a fun game.
It's a lot.
Fun game is us trying to guess.
And I feel like it burnt us out a little bit.
I think easily 10,000.
Oh.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, okay. How many? These are like 1,000 each.
I don't
Catherine's
think
like,
these
I'm
are
gonna calculate it right now.
These are 838.
And then I think the first two are the same length. They're
like 850 or something.
850, okay.
And then
so easily 2,500 basically for this trilogy.
And didn't you have like the bind up of an entire series on your Kindle, Catherine?
Hold on.
Catherine is about to find out.
Because you were like, hey guys, I only have...
Hey guys, welcome to this live show. We don't want to talk about this book, so we're doing everything we can to avoid talking about this book.
Exactly.
Let me see how many is in that.
We're playing fun games.
Yeah,
cool.
we're like,
you know?
Hold on. 8
I don't
and
even know
1.
what I want to rate.
5,335.
See, wait, hold on. That's for Throne of Glass.
That's all of Throne of Glass is.
Oh, easily 10. Oh my God, we read like 10,000 pages. Oh my God, that's crazy.
But you have to deduct for me because I didn't do the tandem read and I didn't read the longest book of Sarah J. Maas, Kingdom of Ash, because that one is like literally 1,000 pages.
Me and Catherine are the only ones.
Are we better than everyone?
Yeah, you are.
It's the curly hair, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing those curls, Christine.
I mean, like, they're barely here, but yeah, because I'm in the humidity, so my hair is like, shoop.
Yeah.
But I love this book. Getting it in now just in case Sarah is ready to make me cry again. And of course, I'm looking at for this non-essential drama. I love it. Tell me your ratings. And my bitch ass couldn't make it to the last one. My bad. I mean, it is what it is, you know?
Maybe one day when you haven't already read like 9,000 pages.
This one, okay. Let's just go ahead, guys, because we've all got feelings. So I feel like Chris had so much potential. And even in this book, in the first 50, I was telling Sarah earlier when we did our classic clit sprints, I was like, oh yeah, I'm liking it. Like, because I was at like 60%. I went back to look. I was at about 60% and I was liking it. But then at a certain point when things started to speed up, like how Sarah J. Maas does in these books, I just was like, things are too convenient. The plot is not adding up. I'm seeing these random characters that I swear, y'all, I read this book. I don't know who these crazy people are. Like, there's just like random characters coming out of nowhere. I'm supposed to know who they are. And so far, I'm just like, I'm literally like Ed from The Lion King. Like, my head is like head empty, no thoughts. And I'm sitting here reading the book, like, like, I don't know what's going on.
You're like, I feel like I've seen that name before, but do I know who they're in connection with? No.
No, I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. And it's like clearly an important person. And I'm like, c'est la vie. I can't tell you. So, yeah.
It's just because there's so many characters. Like, there's too many. And
they're all supposed to be important. And they all have happily ever afters, basically. And then also, like, they're like kids, like secret kids. And then also there's like, you know, an evil force that was living underneath the mountain all this time. And then also, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like there's too much. Too much.
Here's my problem is that Sarah J. Maas will never have the guts, the gall to kill a character off.
Mm-hmm.
No one that she like loves.
No one that's like a POV character. Yeah, and as soon as I like accepted that, all the stakes went out the window because the entire time I was thinking maybe Ethan, maybe Therian, is that his name?
Therian.
Yeah.
I was like, it's gonna be one of those two. Have got to die. But as soon as I like accepted that, like, she just will never kill a character that's like a POV character, she couldn't even kill Amryn. So all the stakes went out because even when we get to the end of this one and it's supposed to be like, oh my god, is Bryce gonna die? It's like, no, she's not. Mm-mm. We all know it.
Well,
so why do I care?
Read so many of these that like there's really a pattern of like the main character literally almost dies, and then the group brings them back. Like, even in this situation, like, we're just getting into it, guys. So like, obviously, if you haven't read those, please, like, spoilers. But like Jessica even giving up her life for Bryce, it's like, why would you literally said earlier in the book, like, it's not time, like, I'm not ready to like give up my immortality, much less die. You know what I mean? Like, I have this curse on me and like whatever. And then all of a sudden you're like, I've been preparing for this day to give you my entire gallery and also to give you my life, and now I'm going to die. You know, like, what are you talking about? Like, what? No.
Yeah.
I don't accept. I do not accept.
Yeah, I feel like Jessica was the like last true like meaningful death.
Yeah, because I did tear up when what's her face died. The Sprite died in the first one.
Yeah,
Lahaba.
Not Jessica, Lahaba.
Lahaba.
Yeah.
I was like,
Lahaba was like the last real like meaningful death.
Yeah, because that was like,
because that one I cried. That one I was like ugly crying.
I teared up for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like we talked about this even when reading ACOWAR. One of us brought it up. It might have been me, actually, that I was not in any way, shape, or form like concerned when the war was happening. I was like, everybody's gonna be okay. There are no stakes because I know that everyone's gonna come out of this alive. Like, everyone that we're supposed to care for and care about, they're gonna be fine. And so it immediately just takes everything down like 5 notches.
Yeah. Like, there were some people that I like didn't know, like her kids, like I keep saying her kids, Lydia's kids. I was like, they might die. And, you know, that's okay because I don't really know them. So like,
but I didn't think she could kill children.
Probably not, because she's a
like,
mom now.
As soon as we like know the name of like a child, I'm like, they're fine.
Yeah, like even then. But yeah, I don't know. She even said it in the book about Lydia. Like, remember when Lydia and Rune were fighting because Rune was like, "You lied to me. You're the Hind." Like whatever, you know, and we're all like, get over it, dude. Like, she did it. Obviously, she's a double agent. But like, he didn't start talking to her until after she revealed that she had kids. And she was like, oh, so now because I'm a mother, suddenly like I'm worth like you forgiving because I'm like motherly, and like now I have like this tragic backstory because I don't have my kids and like blah blah blah. Do you guys remember that part when she said that to him?
I guess
he
it's
was
more
like,
so he's
that's
kind of
not
like,
what it
well,
was.
he can't be that bad if she has kids and like
Kids, yeah.
even her
And Lydia's
mother.
like, no, I'm the hind. Like, I kill people and I do these horrible things. I'm like, you know, da 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 da. And I was like, not Sarah J. Maas literally calling out her own, like, the fact she gives everyone like a tragic backstory, like something crazy has happened to all of the women. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, what the heck? Anyway. But yeah, and I was like, not her literally calling out this fucking male behavior. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss, but this freaking male behavior.
Well, and it reminded me of like it
Ruby.
just felt so similar to what happened with Adian and Lysandra back in Throne of Glass.
Even like Rowan and Aelin. Like obviously Aelin hasn't been through like something super. I mean, the love of her life has been murdered, you know, horribly. But like, you know, at that point she hadn't been abused. So
don't talk about Sam.
That still gets me. I'm still triggered.
It's the fan art that does it for me. I'm like, why are you guys cutting him up? I don't want to see that. Like, what? What are you doing? Anyway, yeah. Usually in these lives, I feel like we always go over the plot. You know what I mean? But like, so much happened in this book. Like, you're just gonna have to read it, dude. We can't go over the whole thing.
Yeah. Here's the there's so much about it that I did like. So it's like hard because there's so many things that I really like. I liked certain world elements. I think the whole concept of this like this parasite basically poisoning the people of whatever Crescent City, this world. I like this idea of these like beings who jump from universe to universe and like are like, ooh, come to this better land. Actually, we're gonna feed off of you. Like lure them in. Like there's so many elements that are so strong and so like so interesting. But then the execution of them is so disappointing and disconnected.
Yeah.
And I like it's so hard because there's so many moments. There's so many moments that I like. But then everything all together and the way it comes together, I just get disappointed.
Yeah, it's a sloppy mess. You're like, what the hell am I reading right now? And I think that's like her bread and butter. It's like Sarah J. Maas is so quotable because you can take like one line and it'd be like tattoos on somebody's neck or like, you know what I mean? Like people just like really get behind this like one idea of this moment when like the reality of it, like all put together, it's like you said, it doesn't make sense. And I think that's also like a weakness in a lot of her story building and like her plot is just like having too many random elements. Like, get it? Crescent City is supposed to be like all of the elements. It's supposed to be like every single magical thing ever created, plus technology, plus like modern living, like all of that all combined into one thing, plus world hopping and like sci-fi stuff and like, you know what I mean? Like it's supposed to be all of that. I get it. But like as a storyteller, you're supposed to be telling like this story, you know what I mean? Of like this little bit. And then you expand. So yeah. It's not so much that like it didn't make sense. It's for me the convenience of the plot and like how things would tie together. Like of course Ethan is gonna now be the prime like whatever the werewolf guy.
Werewolf, yeah.
Is it called a werewolf prime? Yeah. Like of course he's gonna be the prime. You know what I mean? And of course Hypaxia is gonna be like queen of the underworld now. And like, you know what I mean? Like of course Bryce is gonna be like queen of like all these different places and then like abolish it in the end. It's just like so convenient that everybody wins. I want some drama.
Yeah. Well, and I like, as a like romance reader, someone who reads romance all the time, and I'm like used to the HEA. It's like, I don't know, something about it just doesn't feel earned in this, because like when I'm reading a romance, I'm like, okay, I know this is going to end happily, and I know this is going to like, it's all going to work out in the end, but I want to see how they get from point A, the like hopeless, sad part, to point B. And it just never feels focused enough for it to feel earned. And I feel like that was kind of the problem with like having so many POVs in this one. And like a little bit of my problem with like Kingdom of Ash was there was just so many point of views. But this one especially, there were so many point of views that I felt like Bryce was supposed to be the main character, but we barely see her.
Yeah. Well, and the difference in the writing too is that like in this book, the POVs switch mid-chapter. Like this series, it does that, right? Whereas in Throne of Glass, it's very strict. You know what I mean? It's very much like, you know, Aiden, you know, blah, 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 blah. But in this one, like you would like
those ones switched mid-chapter too.
They did.
Yeah.
Did they? Oh,
really.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it was more in this one.
No,
like
there was so many different POVs.
Yeah.
That it was switching like every freaking paragraph.
Yeah.
Well, and it would switch POVs in ways that didn't make sense, where it was like, you're literally in the same place watching the same thing happen. Why are we switching POVs?
Right, yeah. Therion's plotline was so interesting. The whole time I'm like, why are you getting married? You know? And then he's like, because I would have wanted somebody to do this for my sister who's dead. And you're like, whoa, okay. Nice. And then his wife runs off with somebody else. And you're like, okay. But like they don't get divorced. That was like a thing that they said. They were like, Buffet don't get divorced. What do you mean? You know? And then the dragon shows up and I'm like, all right, whatever. Yeah. Already forgot who got married. Yeah. And like I thought they were like gonna be okay, but which is weird because at the beginning I was like, oh, Therion's definitely getting with the dragon. Like they have like a thing. And then she disappears.
I thought okay. Once again, I was like, okay, Therion and Ethan.
What a time to be alive.
It's right there.
The one like male romance in there, like it barely got even touched on.
Like it was right there, Therion and Ethan. And I was like, yeah, obviously these two are gonna end up together. And then that didn't happen. I was so disappointed because I was so interested in Therion's character and his story. And then it was like a lot of self-pity. One day I will get my dream. Thank you, Steph. I don't trust Sarah J. Maas to do that for us. I don't think I want.
You should read Zodiac Academy if you really want a nice male.
I can't commit to another really long fantasy series, but
this one though you'll like go through so quickly. Okay, it's very quick. I'm telling you. But anyway,
I've only read the first one in that series.
Did you like?
Oh my god, Buddy read?
I'm actually kind of down because I have the first 4 books and like I do
start another read along right now.
Oh my god. Announcement right here, Zodiac right Academy, now.
So
Zodiac Academy read along.
It is so fun too because it's so messy in that series.
That's like, why so much. Like I want a messy book to discuss and like
so much happens. And the male romance is actually like freaking fire. Like It's so fun.
I am about to write. I'll write Arian and Ethan fanfic, and I'll write Adian and Kale fanfic.
Wait, who are those two characters? Oh my god, I already forgot. Well, actually, I'm like, oh my god, how could I forget? But Miss Sarah J. Maas just shoved 50 plus people down my throat in this book. Who are the two? Who are the two characters from the library that Nesta was working with, and then
Gwen and Emery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fanfic.
Well, I want Emery and Moore to get together.
I think they are gonna get together. It just won't be like
I
an
hope so.
thing.
Give us something, you know?
Give me something. In Pride Month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Also, like going to like Nesta and that whole thing, seeing Nesta, seeing the phone, that was really cool. She was like, "Can you teach me?" Like the one, I think the one thing I actually loved about this book was seeing Nesta, because I'm like, Nesta has never changed. Like her character has literally never changed in all of the books. You know what I mean? Like Bryce, I feel like changed. I'm like, who are you? What do you want? You know what I mean? But Nesta's like, she comes in, she's like such a hard ass. And then in this book, she's like, teach me how to use that, because we've been trying to figure it out this whole time. And like, you know, she's like, I don't know how to do it, but like, I'm going to figure it out. And I just kind of like loved her character, even though it definitely still reminded me that like she gave up all of her power for, you know.
For what? To have babies.
For what? And like, what's crazy is like, I thought she had given up all her power, but I guess she didn't. This book kind of clarified that for me. Because like
she gave up her and Amryn both like gave up their like supernatural power, and now they just have like a normal
Fae power. Yeah. Which I'm like, of course, again, convenient. I'm like, of course you had to give up your power, because Rhys definitely has to be the most powerful person in the land, you know, like, oh my god. Oh my god, yeah. But yeah, I did like that part. I thought Nesta and Azriel had like a really interesting kind of like, it was interesting that those two were the ones who were there. You know, but it made sense for the plot, because like Azriel's like the king of whispers. That's not his name, but like, you know what I mean, like the king of shadows.
Yeah.
And then Nesta's like the Deathbringer. So it was interesting, that whole thing, that whole part. But like, was it enough for me to be obsessed with it? Not really.
I mean, it was like the saving grace in the first half that I had my girly Nesta there. You know what I mean? Because I was like, you're my tried and true, one of the characters that I actually like. So I feel like she was kind of pushing it along for me to enjoy the first half more than I would have if she wasn't there. You know what I mean? Because Bryce isn't enough for me. I don't really love Bryce.
I loved Bryce in the first book.
I agree with that. Just goes downhill.
But I think her interaction with Nesta was cool. Like, I liked them together. Like, I liked seeing them kind of be friends. Because they're both kind of like take no shit people.
Yeah,
you know?
They have a very similar vibe about them.
Yeah, and I was really frustrated in that first interaction with them, because Nesta was like, Nesta and Azriel both, they were both like, you have to submit, you know, like you have to do what Rhys wants, like da 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 da. And I'm so sick of that narrative. I'm just like, fuck, like shoot him, kill him, murder him. You know what I mean? So, like, I was so sick of that. And
I want to put the Meredith Grey. Choose me.
Exactly. Choose me. Love me. But like, that's how I felt. I was just like, this is so annoying. And then Bryce, like, this is when I loved her. It's when she was like, no, I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to, like, you know, give up. I'm not going to, like, lay on my side. Like, I'm going to fight. I'm going to bust out of here. And then they literally try and hold her down with shadows. And she busts out of that with her power. And I was like, Bryce! Yeah! Like, I was, like, living for that moment. You know what I mean? Because finally, I'm like, wow, somebody might actually be able to, like, withstand this, you know? Because obviously in this book we find out that Azriel and Rhys are like low-key related, because they're both like shadow magic people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like obviously like 15,000 years ago, which is crazy, but like that's how they're related. So anyway, it's just crazy. I'm like, what is going on in the House of Commons? What is going on here? So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that crossover. That and the fact that Lydia's like aliens, great granddaughter, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, cool. I didn't even care.
But I do have to say, like, okay. Like I said, Nesta was the saving grace for the first half for me. The second half, I actually ended up liking Rune. Remember in the first 2 books, I was like, I don't really feel
Yeah, you were like, I'm
about him. But I liked him in the dynamic between him and Lydia. Like, I actually thought their little romance was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing in the second half that I was like grasping onto.
No, I feel that too. Like when
I still can't with the freaking with the spicy scenes though. I feel like the only book that did the spice well was Silver Flames, and in every other book I just cringe whenever anyone has a sexy like interaction.
Yeah, Hunt and Bryce.
Then Bryce and Hunt too.
Yeah, I don't know about them. Yeah. Also, Lydia and Rune had a lot of moments where like people would interrupt them to be like, you know, something's crazy's going on, and then they'd be like, oh, we can't do it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, stop. Why? You know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know.
Get it done.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I mean, please.
And then she was like, "You need me to give you a minute," because he was all excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like Rune and Lydia. I do think that their relationship is like the one that I'm most fond of in this series. But yeah, I don't know. I do think it was like really funny how he was ignoring her, and then obviously when she's like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself, you know, and she turns into the stag to like go run off the cliff. Like, wait, can one of my homies save you? Because I kind of like you still, so like, don't go. You know, I'm like, what
baby,
a guy.
please don't go.
Don't go.
Oh my god, wait, we didn't talk about at the beginning. So when the guys are being tortured.
Oh my gosh.
The guys are being tortured.
So funny.
They chew off
the hands. Like, do you know how horrific it is to have your hand grow back? Like, have you guys seen an animation or anything of that before?
Yeah. I could just think of Deadpool when he has the baby hand.
Yes. It like comes out, it's like a little tiny. That's what I'm imagining in that whole scene. I'm like,
what? This is so insane. Like, that's crazy.
And also for what? Because like you didn't even break out. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
they didn't even achieve it.
Like Lydia still had to come get y'all. She still had to come help and save y'all. So LOL. And also her whole storyline with Paula.
Yeah, Paula.
That whole thing.
Death to him, please.
I hated that.
Yeah,
I was like, she's being sexually assaulted. Why are we writing this into the plot? Like, this is disgusting. And it's all to like make her like seem more, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it's crazy because she outranks him. Like in their military system, like she outranks Pollux. Like he has to do what she says, but like somehow, you know what I mean? Like she has to sleep with him. That doesn't make sense.
Because he's a man. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, that does not. Literally, Sarah J. Maas says that in the book. She's like, whatever Lydia says goes. That's paraphrasing, obviously, but like whatever Lydia says goes. They have to listen to her. And I'm like, Not in the bedroom, I guess.
No.
Not in the bedroom. So dumb. I don't like it. This was Aylin. I was saying she was Aylin's times 20 granddaughter.
Times 20.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
so then
but
they can
like,
even successfully.
You know what I mean? Also, I did actually really like this part. Do you guys remember when, I think it was Celine was saying, they're like, it was like the info dump, right? The history of the worlds or whatever, and like how Thea, ended up on whatever world, blah, 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 blah. I actually liked when Bryce was hearing this. Bryce did say, oh, wow, you guys have been cunts the whole time. Okay, gotcha. Like, my ancestors are assholes. Amazing. You literally let children die. Awesome. Like, good job. I did like that part. Because I'm like, at least she
I
can
also
call
thought it
people
was
out.
interesting that we like finally got like confirmation that there was a dusk court.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
that's where they came from. Yeah.
And I'm like,
from the dusk court.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was like, okay, everything kind of is sort of making sense-ish.
Yeah.
Sort of, kind of. What's the relevance of the Pegasus at the end?
There's a Pegasus?
Remember at the very end, like they spring up from the ground or whatever? And Baxian comes in.
Oh,
he's like super
dead.
excited.
Aren't they the dead ones?
They're dead?
Aren't they not Pegasus? Are you talking about the angel wings?
No, at the very end. Baxian comes in and interrupts Bryce and Hunt when they're about to get it on again for the 15th time.
Yeah.
And they like spring up from the earth. And everybody's super excited about it. And I thought this was like a monumentous thing. I was like, oh, the Pegasus is, what is the plural of Pegasus? Whatever. The Pegasi. Like, I was like, oh, that's so important. And I thought we were going to all be like, yeah, that's important. Never mind. Forget what it
No, I'm just thinking, wasn't there a moment with the angels where, because they had all the like cut off angel wings?
Yeah,
and
they were like souls.
Yeah, they were the souls. And so I forgot that was crazy, where they used like the cut off angel wings to connect to the souls, and then they came back to like fight. Wasn't that what happened?
Yeah, because they're controlling the dead with the mask.
Dude, what happened in this book? That's crazy.
Honestly. That's what I'm saying. Like the last 10%, I was so lost. Like so lost.
They're trying to find an army, right? And so that's why they go to the mer people. I'm just gonna use like not the right terms. So like just follow me here.
For sure.
Okay, so they go to the mer people, the queen of the ocean, whatever. And she's like, we don't have the funds, we don't have the people, we are literal fish. Like we can't help you. You know what I mean? And so then Bryce is like, well, gosh darn it, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to hell and we're gonna get some dead people. And you want to know how we can do that? Because I have a friend in another world that has a dead mask. So we're gonna put that on and we're gonna control all the dead people. You know what I mean? So that's like how that happens. And then when you go to hell, you find out that Hunt is a maid. He's a maid.
Yeah.
Like William, basically. And he's like a charger for Bryce. Like his only purpose is to give her power. And I'm like, Bryce, you are doing what the Asteri were doing other Fae. Like you're taking power from
that, like in the first book though.
Yeah, yes.
Because I remember that being a thing. And it was so weird the moment when he's like, I think it's like it's right after a spicy scene between Hunt and Bryce. But he's like, I feel like there's a part of you in me. And I was like, why are you saying it like this?
He says that. He's like talking about that in this book. He's like, because Bryce and I had sex last night. And I'm like, what? Because we did that, there's a piece of her power inside of me that like makes it possible for me to do blah 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 blah. And I was like, what is this writing? Like, why are you spelling it out like this? Like, this is so weird. It's because we wouldn't get it, obviously, if she didn't say it. But yeah. Also, the mech suits. Do you guys remember that? When like it's like a space situation. They're like,
that's what I was told. Where was the angel souls in the mech suits? That was crazy.
Like I said, there were a lot of things going on in this book, and I feel like she couldn't decide what she wanted to write about. She just wanted to write about
that's what I was saying to you before we started, was like, I feel like this is the book to jump off of. Like, everything's introduced to kind of like carry the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it was disappointing to me because I feel like this could have been such an interesting story and such an interesting world, and it really just felt like this is a vessel to continue on with ACOTAR, because
literally
she's obsessed with ACOTAR. ACOTAR is always going to reign supreme or whatever for SJM, and like ACOTAR isn't your most interesting storyline though.
Yeah. So. I think so. I mean, ACOTAR, that if we're talking like in terms of Sarah J. Maas, like I'm so happy that we're done with her for the current moment. But I will say the next ACOTAR book that comes out, I will read it. The next book in this series that comes out, I will not read it. Yeah. If she ever decides to do anything else with Throne of Glass, obviously will not read it. I didn't read the last 3 books, so I'd be so lost. But like I don't know, ACOTAR is like the most followable to me and the most interesting that I would want to read the next book. But like this series, after this, no, I'm done with the Crescent City series.
Yeah. Well, and I think like it could have been so much stronger, but she put so much focus into ACOTAR that this one just kind of fell flat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think it's exactly what Sarah said. Like, it just serves purpose. Like, the way that I think about these series is I think of Throne of Glass being, like, almost like where the lore comes from. So, like, it's like making the lore, like making the myths of these worlds and setting up for ACOTAR, which is, like, the main event. Like, that's the main course. That's the main storyline of everything. And then Crescent City is an add-on where like you get more of the world building. So like each series kind of serves a purpose outside of ACOTAR, whereas ACOTAR is like the main, like this is where you use all of the lore and you use all of the world building. And then, you know, you use all of the characters from whatever, you know, other series she comes up with or like whatever. So yeah. And I think that's because she like really put a lot of love into the characters and not a lot of love into the plot of ACOTAR. Like obviously it's most followable because like you don't have all this world building dumping. Like we don't even know about the Dust Court. We don't know about the history of like Prynthian. You know what I mean? Like we don't know all of that stuff because she chooses not to do that. She chooses to put her focus on the characters and like make you love these characters, and that's why people are obsessed with it. So like it's like very clever and like very good. But, like Crescent City to me is like almost like a throwaway series where like she was just like, let me just like talk about these things that I made reference to in Silver Flames, but like really go in depth with it, you know? Because when she started talking about Pegasus in Silver Flames, I said she is off her rocker. Why are we talking about flying horses in ACOTAR? Get me out of here. I've got to go. I can't stay here. Anyway. But yeah, we got way more mini hints about the Bone Carver in Aylin's world, though, and I'm so ready to see that overlap. I mean, we'll see. Anyone else watch the amazing animated series of the first 2 ACOTAR books? No. But can you leave the link? I'll watch it. Because in my head, I call Tamlin a different name every time I think about him now. Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, in this series, they did also reference the Fae that like are shapeshifters, which is like Tamlin's specific sort of Fae. And also we know that those Fae come from Throne of Glass because we have Lysandra and like her uncle. You know what I mean? Like, and then also the twins.
Rowan.
Yeah, and Rowan.
Yeah.
So like they're all like interconnected. It's just very like loose threads, like unclear vision of it. So we know that they're all obviously connected. Everybody has mixed genes and stuff. But yeah.
Well, and now
crazy.
it's
I'm
like,
still wondering about the monkeys.
Yeah, but it's like in the next book in this series, it's like, are you just gonna blend ACOTAR fully with Crescent City, or can Crescent City like stand on its own without having all the characters from ACOTAR? You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna write ACOTAR. Don't write another.
Yeah, like a Crescent City novel. You know, like what are you talking about?
It's like keep them sort of separate. I get that, you know, worlds can merge and blend, but it's like you have the two separate series for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the end of this book was so lackluster too. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Like you really just abolished a monarchy and like you're gonna try and do a government system, and like it's not that easy, sweetie. But okay.
No, I reread the last chapter twice, but let me also say, it should be illegal for a book to have more than 100 chapters.
Oh no, I was
straight
like,
to jail,
chapter
like
102, and I was like, get me out of here! I've got to go. 102.
Release me, please.
If anyone films their reaction to this or watch it live, I'll literally mail you a present. Can you send us the link, please?
Yeah.
You don't even have to send me a gift.
One pop up that was animated, but I didn't.
Send it to me.
I don't know. I don't know why.
I want to know. I want to know.
Wait, but somebody asked earlier what our ratings were.
Oh God. Wherever it is.
I want to know Christine's rating.
I don't know. I've been thinking about it. Been musing on it because, like I said, I was enjoying the first bit of it. Okay, I was enjoying that, and then it just like started going downhill. So in my head, like if I enjoy 50% of it, it's like automatically a 3 because a 3 is like a 50 out of 100 to me. I don't know. I don't know if it's making any sense. So in my head, I think I would give it like a 3 or like a 3.5.
That's higher than I expected.
Yeah, that's higher than I thought you were going to say.
Well, because I feel like once it gets, if it's under a 3, I'm actively not liking it. And like I did like most of it, like 60% of it. I did like. But then it's like when things started connecting, that's the weakest part of it. So like if I was compiling it, I'm sure it would be different because like plot is like a huge thing in compile, but like me just off the dome, I'm like, okay. I think I want to settle at like a 3 because I did like seeing some things, like Catherine said, like I did enjoy a lot of moments. It's just like the plot to me is the weakest part of it. But like, is that necessarily like, I don't know, ruin it? I don't know. I don't know.
Does
Maybe
it
I'll change
ruin
it. You guys,
it?
Does it ruin
it? Anyway.
Would you rate it, Sarah?
Okay, so I'm trying to think of it in terms of like ranking the 3 books. I definitely think I liked this just a little bit more than House of Sky and Breath. And I gave
was like
that
such
one.
A throwaway book.
It literally so is.
Like literally, we could have not had that one, and I would have been okay.
Yeah, honestly. But I gave that one a 1.5, so I'm giving this one a 2 because I liked it a little bit more. And like I said, there were certain characters that I ended up actually having a connection with in this book that I didn't connect with before. So I feel like that's growth, okay? And we have to recognize it. So it can't be that much higher, but a 2-star is what I'm going to land on. Because, I mean, if we weren't discussing it, I definitely would have DNF'd this.
Yeah. Yeah. Catherine.
Well, I don't rate books for those who
I know,
rate, but like my overall thoughts are there is so much that I still like about this world, and I like about the characters, even though I was like disappointed with the outcome. I think like my disappointment is the thing that like I got to the end and I was like, oh, well, that was really anticlimactic. But while I was reading it, there was a lot that I was liking, even though I was confused by a lot of it. And it just felt like I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on. But yeah, I think there's still so much that I like about the world. And like I'll continue on with the series. I'll continue on when I'm too deep in now, y'all. Like I gotta know what happens. I think I was just so disappointed because the first one of the series is probably my favorite of Sarah J. Maas's books. And so yeah, to then go to this, I was like, oh, Bryce was such a interesting character, and now like I don't even know who she is in this one. And I was so fascinated by Hunt and like his like whole story and like their relationship, and then I was like, meh. And then like even like Rune and Lydia, I was those ones. I mean, I love Rune, but I felt like there was so much more about their characters that we could have seen. I don't know. I feel like Sarah J. Maas needs to fire her editor and get a better editor. That's honestly my thought.
Yeah,
can't argue
because I think her editor gives her too much leniency and isn't like, hey, you have to focus this and like go back to the plot.
Right. Or like if you're not
you can write whatever you want. Yeah. Or build up the characters.
Yeah.
But instead I feel like whoever her editor is, I'm so sorry to say this. But
speak your truth.
Rein in your author. Like, do your job. I don't know.
Like,
no, and like people are like, oh, I love Sarah J. Maas so much because she has all these like Easter eggs, and you pick up on things like 3 books ago, and then it comes. And I'm like, no, you need to follow more of a linear path because like not everyone's gonna pick up on something that you mentioned like 700 pages ago. That was just like a throwaway thing. You keep introducing things and just like pocketing them in there, and then you bring it up when it's convenient for you. And it's like, no, no one's gonna follow that. You are in your head, you're the one writing it, but like all of us, we're like, where did this come from? And you're like, oh, I mentioned it before. Like,
mentioned it one time in book 1 in chapter 59 of 100.
Exactly.
Well, and I really like Easter eggs, and I think that like when you're reading like a mystery book and it has like Easter eggs and you get to that aha moment, you go, oh my gosh, that's what that thing meant. But because there's so much and it's 800 pages, 3 books that are 800 pages, you get to that what's supposed to be the aha moment, and you're like, well, you've crammed so much in that now you're trying to make us feel stupid for not getting it. But how
you don't even remember you don't even remember something, so you're like, oh, that was supposed to be an aha moment. Like I don't remember the plant being planted. The seed being planted.
Yeah.
Like, where is the seed? There is
Literally.
no plant, even though the tree is like sitting right beside me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that a few lives ago about how she was really good at doing foreshadowing in the ACOTAR series, especially. Like, she would say something and we'd be like, okay, something to look out for. And it was like simple. It was I'm a simple gal, you know? Like, it was a simpler time back.
Like I was saying, that one's more like, I mean, it's not the correct word, but that one's more linear than this series, because this is just all over the place and so many different things are introduced in like a weird manner.
Yeah.
So those, when it does come back into play, you're like, oh yeah, I remember this. But in these, you don't remember it. So how is it supposed to connect and be
like literally at all
thing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like Catherine said, it's like she says this stuff like we're supposed to know. Like, that's exactly how I felt. There would be names of people that it would be like you're clearly supposed to know and remember who this is. And I'm like, couldn't tell you who this random person is. I can't, who's the Under King? I'm getting him confused with the Hell people. So it's giving the same energy. And I'm just like, you know, just call him Hades.
Wait, who is the
That'll
Under
be easier for
King?
me.
Is he not related to the Hell people?
No,
The
he's like
Princes
king of
Hell?
the dead people. No, they're two different things. Those are two different things.
Wait,
Hell is like a whole other world.
And
then
the Under King is the one
like
in the one district.
Yeah, he's one of the
across
kings
the water,
in
right?
this. Yes, but now he's dead, and now it's Hypaxia who is the Under King.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So he
I
stole
also
the
read
Reapers
this
from
book
Hell.
back in January, so like
I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I had to do a lot of work to be like, wait a minute, this is not Hell.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the Under King is in charge of all the dead souls. So really, Hell shouldn't be called Hell because that's like a whole separate world. Like, that's a different thing.
Hell is essentially like another world, like ACOTAR.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Where they have like different princes or like, you know what I mean? Like high lords essentially.
Yeah.
So but yeah, anyway, it was like a lot of work to connect all this stuff. The Necro Witch's name being one letter away from the word for oxygen deprived stresses me out. Exactly. Every time. I just also hated that like mythology names were mixed in to this book, but like the mythology names are the names of what it is, if that makes sense. So like, for example, like this is the easiest one, like the Under King should have been named Hades, right? But like he's not.
Mm-hmm.
So like that name is like used on somebody else and you're just like, why are you like, that's purposefully confusing because everyone who's ever read anything in mythology knows Hades and Persephone. You know what I mean? So like there were a lot of instances like that where like if you read mythology or like if you grew up with mythology, especially like the Greek mythology, like that would be the one thing that like pissed me off in this whole entire book. I'm like, why are we taking the storyline?
And then there was also some like Catholicism things that had
there's like so much stuff. There's like scenes from Big Hero 6 in here. Like it doesn't make sense.
No, literally.
Yeah.
Why that scene is when Baymax is like, oh no.
Yes. I'm like, sorry?
Which makes me sob. I love that movie so much. It is one of my favorite movies, but
exactly.
It literally was like that.
So, I'm just using this as an example because most of the mythology in this book is Greek mythology. Like the Pegasus, the fact that Jessica is basically Circe. There's a lot of examples. So I was like, why not call him Hades, you know, if he's the Under King? It would be easier than just like being like Princes of Hell, blah, 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 blah. Like the 7 circles of hell.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like
to
there's
have
so
them
much
not technically related to the Princes of Hell in any sort of way was weird.
Also, that weird. I was like, what's going on with Hunt? Like, when they were like, he was made, and I'm like, oh, so they obviously like did it with his mom. And they're like, no, actually it was like him and like this other guy. They like put their essence into the scientist lab of like Hunt's birth and like da-da-da. And I'm like, too much. Like, what's going on?
I'm like, I don't think Miss Sarah Janet understands that I'm just a girl. Like, I can't handle all of this.
I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl. That's my argument for not liking these books. I'm just a girl. You can't expect me to follow.
I would say this, but like this Princess of Hell storyline reminded me of the Carrie Maniscalco books of like Kingdom of the Wicked, where like you have like the 8 like princes of hell, and they like all own their own domain. Like literally those princes, I was like imagining those princes of hell being like the princes of hell here. And I'm like, oh, they just went to like their house, you know? So I don't know if you guys have read that series, but I was just like, oh, this is literally from that book. That's what that reminds me of. So yeah. I know they are so much worse. I literally rated them so badly. But like my point is
but you remember them,
like those ideas and putting them into your story. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that that's what she did, but yeah, I don't know. I remember the first time I read ACOTAR, I literally was like, this is the storyline of this really dark fantasy that I read like forever ago, and it's like from like the 90s, and I'm like, ACOTAR is the storyline of this book. Like if people read that, they'd be like, oh, this is the same storyline. So it just makes me wonder, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no thought is original.
Very true.
No thought.
Everything comes from something else, and
I guess it's just like so weird because like I don't read things often where like this is from this, but like I feel like I always do that with Sarah J. Maas stuff. But also I don't know if I'm just like maybe being more harsh. I guess I don't know because these books are more popular. I'm not sure. But yeah, I've never read anything with like Princes of Hell like that, except for the Carrie Maniscalco thing. So I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting stuff.
What were
How did we feel about Lydia actually having kids? What?
Did we figure out who her kids were, or who their parent? Oh my god, who her kids' dads were? Dad was.
So it was just some random dude in a random like ritual. So because Lydia is related to Aelin, and Aelin is like the stag, right? Which like ties into the fact that Lydia is a stag shapeshifter. They have apparently this random ritual where like everyone is anonymous, and they do this ritual magic to like conceive children, and then those kids are supposed to go to the stag like household or whatever. But because she like hated her father, she lied and basically like faked kidnapping and was like, yeah, I'm not going to give you my kids. So she put them in foster care and started working for like the Queen of the Sea. Yeah. It's just a lot.
Yeah, I just think there was a lot of like the kids I feel indifferent about. I couldn't care one way or another about them. I just feel like Lydia was put through like an unnecessary amount of like sexual trauma. Between that and Pollux and stuff, and I'm just like, but why?
Yeah. The ritualistic magic, I'm like, where did this come from? Because it was definitely not in Aelin's time. So, you know, like what are they doing there? It's like a magical tide, I guess.
Dude, same.
Yeah, except the lady was like mean to her. She like wouldn't let her see her kids.
Yeah.
You know, made her into the hind. I'm like, all right, well, whatever, I guess. Any other like big...
so much, and I'm so amazed that you can remember things and that you're like, oh, this is this, and I'm like, yeah.
I was really paying attention, like really trying to, though. So I don't know.
I was trying my best.
I mean, it was a lot. There was a lot. I feel like there's a bunch of stuff we haven't even talked about with the plot because it's like, what's the point, you know? Like, we got the major point of it, which is like Ruth's related to Reese, Lydia's related to Aelin. Everyone comes from like the same place. They just got separated because of this evil called the Asteri, or the Asteri, whatever. I just said Asteri. Yeah, and like supposedly they're still out there, you know. You never know. Yeah, exactly. Like, you never know when they're gonna show up. Because I was trying to think, I was like, what was the major conflict here? Like, the major conflict was that Bryce's dad murdered, like she killed him, right? And Ethan becomes like prime, Hypaxia becomes under queen. But like their whole thing with the Asteri, they didn't even defeat them, right? Like, I can't even answer that question because I'm not sure if that even happened.
I don't think so.
Right? Like, did they even have a battle? Did they have a battle? I can't tell you.
I thought they did.
Did they? I mean, I know that they fought the one lady in the tomb, Vespera or whatever, or Vespera, whatever. But like, they didn't fight an army, did they?
Well, who were the Autobots fighting then?
I thought they were just fighting like their minions. Oh, she shoved them into the black hole. Never mind. She did. She shoved them into the black hole. There we go. There we go. I know there was like an army, but like, were they the Asteri army? I don't know.
Yeah, they were
Autobots.
Not the freaking like Autobots, like Transformers.
I didn't know what else to call them.
That's what they are, though. It's like, wait, Autobots. Look, like they kind of are. They kind of are. This was also fun. I did like this. Like the lady woke up and she was like, "Feed me, servants." And they're like, "What?" But I do think it was dumb that Bryce like opened her tomb. That was stupid.
Yeah.
Bryce doesn't make a lot of good decisions.
Well, in her defense, a lot of people keep things from her that would keep her from making stupid decisions. Where I'm like, if y'all just talked to her and gave her all the information and weren't like, let me be mysterious and do things this way, and then we'll inform you later, she would be able to make informed decisions about things, but she can only work with what she's given.
Well, it's like...
Well, and that's Reese in a nutshell, you know?
Yeah.
When she tried to basically sick that huge worm from like the first Agatar book on Az and Nesta, I was like, girl, why are you doing this? And then just to turn around and be like, I'm gonna save you from the worm.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, I didn't mean to almost kill you. And Nesta's like, girl,
and Nesta's like, you bitch.
Yeah, you stupid idiot. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, I didn't think it was gonna kill you. Nesta's like, what do you think it was gonna do? Like, it's a huge worm with lots of teeth. What the hell? But yeah, I don't know. It just served the plot, basically. It's like, whatever. I'm trying to think of like who else died. Not like we even care about. I feel like that's it.
No one else did.
Yeah, it was only like a couple of people this time around. I feel bad. They were still trying to drag around Sophie's corpse. I'm like, geez, just let her rest. Just let the Thunderbird rest. Like, God, she is dead. the whole grid storyline was just like stupid. I'm like, why even bring up this other heir? Like, just to have her become a Reaper. What's the point?
It'll probably come back around in like 2 or 3 books.
You'll be like, oh yeah, Sigrid. Yes. I forgot who she is, you know?
And that'll be years from now, because it's not like these books are coming out.
Never remember.
Like,
I'll never remember.
It's just
silly.
Like, she's gonna learn how to just hold some things back until they actually matter.
I bet she said the next book. The next book is like called The Reaper, a Crescent City novel.
But it's got to be House of Many Waters, right?
Yeah, it has to be. Also, that was another thing. It was like they were talking about the Reapers with like no context, and I was like, okay, Sigrid the Reaper, what does that mean? Like, I know what a Reaper is in like modern culture, but like, what does it mean in this world? Like, what's going on?
Anyway. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, apparently, I did write a note in here that says, if Rune dies, I'm never reading another SJM book again.
Well, good thing he didn't. He almost did.
At some point, I was convinced he was going to.
It was when he was fighting Pollux, probably, even though he wasn't the only one fighting.
No, it was when, funnily enough, it's after a sex scene between him and Lydia, where I was like, no, this feels too final. This feels too much like a
This is the final bang.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, when he was like telling her he loved her and then he like closed off mental guards, I'm like, that's such a Reese thing to do. Like, don't act like him, please. Like, don't be like, I love you, but like, I don't give you any place to like say anything back. Like, that's so rude.
Yeah.
So rude. Yeah. I feel like all the characters had like a wet blanket thrown over them in this book.
Yep.
They were just like subdued. That's the good word. That's the good word.
Mm-hmm.
But like we did it, you know?
Yes.
We made it through.
I mean, I don't know if I would say I made like but we're here. We're not thriving, but
I kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like I can go on with ACOTAR and know what's going on, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I may have to reread this one at some point, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I was like, good luck with that.
Yeah, it's real rough for me, honestly.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But yeah, like I said, the only other books I would be interested in are the ACOTAR books.
Which are going to be the ones that like have more written. So there you go. Also, I did see those. YouTube deleted it. So I'm going to go back and look at the link. It's for the animated summaries of the first 2 ACOTAR books. So everybody just keep that in mind. Everybody just keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind.
And maybe you won't have to reread books. Read that. Or read that. Watch that.
That's so
what
true.
Happens. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's a 2.5. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean,
what do you guys think?
I was surprised that you said 3.5 because of how much you were like saying. You had a lot of criticism about it. So I'm like, 3.5 with all of that to say? I mean, I'm not trying to get you to lower your rating.
I can see you at a 3.
I feel like, yeah, I was like, what about it?
Yeah.
I probably could have not read it and been okay. Is that a 3?
No.
No.
Like, what is that? Like a 1?
Like, I actually want to forget this book existed, but like 3, right?
Well, like, I did like the lore connection. I'll say that. Like, I think maybe my favorite part is when they're info dumping in the thing. And Bryce is like, oh, you're an asshole. And I was like, yeah, you're an asshole. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a 2.5. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. I don't think it's a 3 because I feel like 3, I give respect to 3 stars. I'm like, yeah, you weren't good, but you definitely weren't bad. You know, you're like a mediocre.
Yeah.
But this one was like kind of bad.
I mean, and if we're talking like specifically about half of 5 is a 2.5, and you said
Yeah.
middle. So
Yeah. I
like
was like,
I know what you mean
60-ish.
though, because yeah, when I say like
flip it.
middle, I 3-star because there's 2 on both sides,
Yeah.
like star wise. But if we're talking numbers wise and not star, then 2.5 is technically half.
Yeah.
Done.
There you
convinced
go.
me. It's a 4 for me. Well, because I feel like the first one was a 4 for me. 4 and a 4.5. It was like somewhere in there. I think I said that in the first one. I was like, oh, it's like a 4.25, something like that.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I really, like I said, I could do without this one, but like the last one, I really could have actually done without and been okay. Like that one, I feel like is like a traditional, like 1.5 or 2. Like I really just don't care about that one. And then this one, I think I cared a little bit because we got answers to questions.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not like I update my freaking.
Question for you guys: do you think these books would be better if it was, instead of these 3 large books, if they were like 6, or even like the first one was the same length, but the last 2 were like
Split up.
You know, broken up into 4 books and followed more of an arc in that way?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. Like more.
Yeah,
because they would be easier to digest.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even like
this one, it just felt like there was so much like beginning, middle, end, but not end, and then I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like feeding us so many pages and like so much information that just goes literally nowhere. Like some things do, some things don't, but yeah, if it was like cut up into parts, then yeah, I would definitely like it.
I like thick books, first of all. Like thick books don't scare me, but like they have to have an overarching theme or plot or something. Urban fantasy is usually like shorter, but I do love long boys. Most for urban fantasy I've loved and works for me is quite short but longer series. Yeah, because it's like little like snippets of this like urban fantasy lifestyle. I agree with that. I do think it would be better if it was like an overarching, like you had like actual kind of like a plan. I don't know, because like obviously this is planned. Like there's a lot going on. She's like clearly got like the red line going everywhere. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about it that doesn't work for me. Like Dresden, only thing coming to mind right now. What is Dresden? I feel stupid. I don't know what you're talking about. Help me. Help me. Help the rest of us. But yeah. Yeah. I guess I kind of didn't like this one. I'll never read those. Okay. What's going on?
Dresden.
There we go.
Files?
The Dresden Files. It has to be an urban fantasy. Yeah, that's like 1,000. Yes, I butcher. I don't think I'll ever read those either. But yeah, I don't know. Is it good? Let me know. If it's worth it, I'll read it. But yeah. Anyway, okay. I feel like that's all we have to say. What do we think, guys?
Yeah, I don't have any like quotes or anything to share, so.
No, I felt like all the quotes were kind of like the same stuff she always says, unfortunately.
Let's see what I got in here.
Love prevails through all things.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, this is a good one. I'm sick and tired of people using girl as an insult. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That was similar to like what she said to Rune, where she was like, why do you have to like suddenly care about me because I have this tragic backstory? I did like that part. I will say that. I did like that part, and I liked when Bryce was like, you're an asshole. Like, you're my literal grandmother, whatever, times 1,000, but like, you're a dickhead. I did like those parts. So good on you, Bryce. I guess I liked her more in this one than I did in the last one.
Oof. And then also when Rune says, I love you, I fell in love with you in the depths of my soul, and it's my soul that will find yours again in the next life. He shut off the connection between them before she could reply. Boy, why? Why you gotta do that?
He's gotta be dramatic, like his great cousin.
He's gotta be dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Also, can we, like, where do you guys think Cassian was this whole time?
I literally was like yearning for him. I was
like he has to be on a mission, right? Because otherwise he would be down there with her.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way he's going
honestly, to go the only reason why she had Asriel there instead of Cassian is because she's like setting up Asriel's book and realized that Asriel has no personality, and so
so you gotta give him one.
Gotta give him a personality.
Wow, you really met him for filth just now. And like in 2 sentences, you really just dragged his ass so hard. You read him for filth.
I'm an Asriel hater first.
True.
Well, because he's kind of a creep in freaking the last book that we see him. Like, you know
what I mean? He's been a creep. He was also a creep in Aka War.
Yeah, like, you're just like, what are you doing, you freaking weirdo?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I deserve to have more. And it's like, Moore's never shown you any sort of interest. I deserve to have best. I deserve to have Elaine, and it's like, again, like sure, she's shown you more interest than more, but still, you deserve nothing.
Yeah.
Why are you being such a weirdo? Oh, I had this tragic backstory. That was 500 years ago, my dude. Get over yourself. Like, I'm sorry, if all these girls are supposed to get over it when like it just happened to them literally like a week ago.
Period.
But you've been alive for 500 years. Are you kidding?
I can't get over it. Speak on it. My God. When has he said he deserves more? It's not that he said it verbatim, it's just the way she acts.
Yeah. Well, it's the way everyone treats him. The way they treat him is they're like, oh, like Moore's like, oh, I can't say anything to him because like I don't want to hurt his feelings, and like everyone just walks on eggshells around him, and they all treat him like they can't like put him in his place and be like, look, dude, she's not interested.
Yeah. He definitely does say something similar to that, though, when he's talking about Elaine. He definitely is
he does say that.
Nesta's with Cassian. Of course, I deserve. Like, he doesn't. I don't know if he says I deserve, but like he says like Elaine is mine essentially, and Reese is like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
No, like that is a part where I do like Reese, but like, you know what I mean. In the grand, and he's like, I forbid this from happening. You know what I mean. So like, I did like that part, but like also I think that's out of character for like everyone involved except for Asriel. So.
Asriel doesn't deserve rights, but Lucian does. Okay.
I love Lucian. I am a Lucian stan until the day I die. Like, I really think he's just in an unfortunate situation.
Because with Lucian, he's like, okay, I want to get to know Elaine, but like y'all are saying, take a step back. Okay, I'm gonna go hang out with the humans.
Yeah.
Like, I'm and then Elaine even says, like, go away. I don't want to be around you. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Lucian.
He's like,
I wonder how
hint
happily we're
taken.
after.
I've got it.
Yeah.
I can give you your space.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he
one
listens
else
to
respects
her. Like
boundaries.
something's clearly not wrong with, like, not right with her. Like, she needs a doctor. You know what I mean? Like, he like
Yeah.
notices these. And like, granted, like they're mates, so like hypersensitive and hyper aware of that. But like, still.
But if Azra is spending all this time with her, and even he doesn't like see that she needs it, I don't know.
Yeah.
Needs a doctor, something going on.
Because he doesn't actually want her. It's just the idea of like deserving
wants intimacy.
Yeah.
With someone.
Well, and hella people want to be intimate with him.
Yeah, that too. Everyone's like, yeah, he's got a big wingspan. And I'm like, guys, come on.
But that's his only personality
never
trait.
matured.
That he's brooding and I don't know.
And wasn't it in A Court of Silver Flames where Nesta was like thinking about a threesome or whatever between? I was like, no. Why are we bringing Az into this? Like, don't ruin a good thing.
But also, like, you can't tell me that never once Az and Cassian never had a little smooch.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna tell me that they've never like.
I mean, I know that Cassian would be willing because my man
Cassian is a bisexual king.
Asriel, he's down bad for Reese. He is down bad for every man because he is a Viking, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we stand Cassian on this channel.
Yeah.
Because he's for all the people. He's Pan, really, like, let's be honest, but
for real.
It is what it is.
Equal opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't actually know who he is at all. So that's why I really want to see his book, because I'm like, let's go.
Everyone is gay or I'm out.
Well, guess who's not gay? Reese and Faye, so you can just count them out. All three of them.
I just like, I don't know. If you've been like, you're ancient. You are immortal.
You've never dabbled?
You've never dabbled?
You never got bored?
Like, please.
Yeah, you literally don't age.
But
like,
why are you
what
lying?
else are you gonna do? Why are you lying?
Why are we giving into this like sexuality construct that
exactly.
Yeah, because that's how I think, like, not to get off topic, but that's how I think of vampires. Like, do you ever think of like the really old vampires and like the movies and like stories about them and how they're just like, they're basically all poly because they're just like, we've been alive for thousands of years and like, what's the point of living? You know what I mean? They just like desensitize
to
listen, like everything.
Even if mere mortals, experiment in like college, you're telling me immortals aren't gonna experiment at all?
Like, they're doing weird stuff.
Hundreds and hundreds of years.
Like, please, you can't have sex the same way for 500 years.
Yeah. No. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, why would Nesta give up her power? But I get it, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop harping on that tune. But still, like, why?
Why
would you do it? Okay. Maybe. But she doesn't even have to do an intimate scene, I guess. You know, I think we just want to see the relationship be on page. You know, like just a little hand holding, a little like flirtatious glance. It doesn't have to be much. I'll eat the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Well, I think the best one that she's written so far is the one couple in
oh my god, yes. Throne of Glass, right?
Yeah, in the Throne of Glass series.
The old men who were like at Rowan's camp.
Yeah.
Those two were so I was like, wow, to be old and like boot her partner, like
yeah, I think that's the best like queer thing that she's written, and then since then it's just
and
been
it wasn't
like
even much.
No. Listen, Sarah J. Maas, I'm here. I am willing. I'll be in consult for more.
Wink and Silver Flames, yeah. Well, and even like Lydia's kids had 2 foster dads in this one, so it's like I guess she's trying to like maybe get comfy with it. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
a
little butt grab. Yeah, no, Cassian's definitely grabbed both the other guys' butts.
Yeah, for sure. And he's literally just like, oopsie, and you're like, Cassian, you are gay.
Like the same way that like, you know, all the sports players are like slapping each other's butts.
Yeah. Just like... Yeah. You're like, why would you? Okay.
Oh my god.
Except Cassian really means it. He's like, unless.
Yeah, he means it.
You know, like, what do you think? She is taking too long.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, listen, guys, I'm in the bookish community. That's my excuse. Like, I've got to do this. You know?
Give the people what they want.
Not even the people. Like, what I want is this, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I just want it to all be out there. And, like, if you don't like it, that's fine. That's, like, what art is. Like, you don't have to like everything. It's fine. You know?
Yeah.
Did I like this book? Arguably, no, it's fine. Like, this book is going to be fine without me not liking it, you know? So, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Did I like this book? No.
No. What do you do? Like, no.
I'm so curious, though, like, if Steph even started it? Because I know that she DNF'd Sky and Breath. So did you start this one? At which part did you DNF it? Like, how far into it did you get, or did you not get into it at all?
I'm sure she started it and gave it, like, a good chance. Because she bought the book. Like, we all bought the books.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she, like, gave it a good chance. She might even have, like, tried it on audio a little bit. And then was like, no, I just can't do this.
There you go.
Which makes sense. I feel like the only way I got through this one was reading it on audio. Even though we all bought them physically, I still read it on audio.
Same.
I had to listen to it like
I read it physically. But I also, like, I read it the day it came out, and
the hype was real.
Like, yeah, I was still in the hype. I had just finished like, I read back to back the first, second, and third, like, within a week of each other. So, like,
it was fresh.
I was
annotated. I mean, look at you go.
You did it. You did it, Speed.
You did it for all of us.
You know what? I didn't hate it. I was just disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, those are my feelings of it. Was like, I didn't hate it, and I didn't hate my time reading it. Like, I don't regret reading it. I was just disappointed because I felt like there could have been so much more, and there was so much potential with it.
That's what I've seen from most people who, like, are stans of SJM. They were so excited for this book, and then it let them down. But I think it's also the fact of, like, people fill in the blanks when you give them a ton of time to sit on, like, the end of the last book. So they're going to come up with theories, and then when you don't write what they thought, then it's, like, disappointing.
Well, I don't, like, because I have kind of mixed feelings about how quickly some books come out, and I think there does need to be time in between, and like, unless you write them all at once and it's already like done and completed ahead of time. Like, I don't want, especially with a fantasy book, I don't want it to be rushed. And I like the I don't know. I like fan theories, and I like that. I think people do put a little too much expectations in their fan theories of like it has to be what I like want, otherwise it's going to be terrible. And like that wasn't what I was disappointed in. Like I wasn't disappointed. I know a lot of people I'd seen online, like people being disappointed there wasn't more of the ACOTAR characters, and I'm like, but this isn't an ACOTAR book. This is Crescent City book. And like the thing I was disappointed in was just the execution. It wasn't necessarily like what happened, you know?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I didn't like hate it. Like I think hating and disliking are obviously two different things, but like can get confused with each other. Like I didn't hate it for sure, but like is it my favorite thing ever? No. But am I glad that I read it? So now when people talk about things, I know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I love that.
Well, and I am excited to see how like this then comes to play in the next ACOTAR book, like the things that happen in this one.
Yeah, because if I'm being honest, like that is, I am interested. We're all interested in that.
Yeah. Well, and like also like, okay, now technology has been introduced to the world of ACOTAR, so how's that going to affect that? Like,
right. And they like want to go back to that world too. Like that was mentioned too. They were like, what if we all just went back to the original world we were in? You know, like there's a lot to be done there. So, I mean, go off, girl. If you can keep making money and like doing it like this, do it like that. Yeah, the outer spaceness was cuckoo bananas. I'm glad that you're a positive thinker. Secretly an optimist. I love when others love books, so I'm happy you did like it. Yeah, just because you know one person doesn't like something doesn't mean that you have to not like it. Like we know that. That's life. That's life.
Me and Sarah disagree on books all the time.
Yeah, not just you and Sarah. Like we disagree on stuff all the time. Like that's the whole point of like reading books. It's like you don't want to be the same as everybody. You know, that's why you like talk about them in lives and stuff. I need more series to be published, like a Netflix series. Give me all 6 books at once, so I don't have to read them annually to remember the characters. This is a lot of critical analysis from people who ruined Spider-Man for me. Yeah. I think this is interesting. It's kind of like what Catherine was saying, like with the KU books that come out like once every 6 months, it's hard to keep up with those, I think, for me. But there is something satisfying about having a whole series out and being able to read it all like when you want to read it. So like those are two different things.
I get it not being rushed though, but it's just the fact that like because there's so much that if you have a gap of like 2 years, then it's like, all right, well I gotta reread the books. So then you have to reread everything before the new one comes out. And then fast forward another 2 years and you're like, I have to reread them again. So it's just like when there's so much. But I don't want like a new Crescent City book every 6 months. Like obviously take your time, but the more time you take, the more people are going to forget these, again, like the seeds that you've planted, and then they're going to have to go back to fully get like references and stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like I also don't like the way Netflix series have been dropping is my thing. So I like having the time to speculate and to talk about it, especially if it's a series I really like. I honestly miss having the discourse and being like, oh, what do we think is going to happen? Because I mean, I remember when things like Twilight was coming out, when those were first coming out. And like I went to midnight release parties for those, and we were like, what do we think's gonna happen for Breaking Dawn?
No one knew if she was the affair or not. It was like the biggest thing.
Yeah, it was like
the whole will thing. She get with Jacob?
Yeah, and so I really like having that like back and forth. I don't know. I feel like I've talked about it before where people people don't know how to be in fandom spaces very much anymore. And there has been kind of a little bit of this is me getting on my soapbox right now, is people have been losing the respect of respecting other people's like opinions and other people's theories and stuff. And so for me, like that's like the fun part of these, is like I don't have to be right, but I want the book to be good.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know, because I liked when I would like watch shows before it was like, oh, all 6 episodes at once, and they'd have the previously on, and it would like show like the important things you need to pay attention to. I think we just need to start having that more for books, is previously on. Hey, remember when I talked about this, and this in the last book? Pay attention to those things.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Well,
like
it's not like she can't do that. She's done that
like,
with all her other series.
Yeah, here's what you missed on Glee. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, this is what we're going to be talking about.
I think we need to start bringing those back in.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the next ACOTAR. Less of a factor for me, yeah. Yeah, I think that's like one of the best parts of this community is like, you know, we're here like, yeah, this book like wasn't the best, but like it was fine, like whatever. There are gonna be some people out there that are like, I love this book so much, it's so good, one of the best books Sarah J. Maas has ever written. Like, did you see the Easter eggs? It's so Taylor Swift, like blah 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 blah. And then like on the other side, like people will be like, give this a 0 stars. Like this should have never been written, you know. And that's just the point.
Well, I'm definitely like just in general a binger. Like I love just watching an entire season of something. Like I don't want to have to wait, and so most of the time I will wait until a full series is out before I start the first book, because I don't want to have to wait in between, because I have such a pea brain that I forget everything. Like I'll have to reread the books, and I don't want to have to do that like a million times every time a new book comes out, you know? So
yeah,
either they need to have a little recap at the beginning of every next installment, or they just need to all come out at once, or like I just wait until the whole series is out.
The whole thing comes
like,
out, yeah.
The next ACOTAR book, I'm probably gonna have to. Well, Carrie can read, has her thing, so I can just watch those, thankfully. But if those didn't exist, but if those didn't exist, then I'd be like, okay, well, I guess I have to reread the entire series.
Yeah, and we just read it like a few months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think series like these, I just have to annotate. That's what I've learned. Because like this whole entire read along, I have not been annotating. I've been reading most of them on audio. And I can't take in the information that's important like this without annotating. So like that was what I kind of learned through this. Like it's okay, I can binge a series, that's fine. Or I can wait. But like the most important thing for me to like actually take in the information is just annotating and like writing down like what the important stuff is. Because I tried to in the beginning. I was like, oh, what is this like crazy godlike person from another universe, and the word keys, you know what I mean? And then like where did those notes go? I have no idea where they are now. So yeah, watching stories. If they made an animated ACOTAR show, I would be so obsessed, y'all. Ooh, I would be so obsessed. Maybe we'll do a watch party.
I'm definitely gonna have to reread like Fourth Wing and Iron Flame before Onyx Storm comes out. Like I know that I'll have to reread them.
Yeah, I feel like I know what the major stuff is for those. Like, so I don't have to like reread it, but those are some crazy.
I still haven't read Iron Flame, so
ergo. But yeah, okay, cool. Well, speaking of that, any other final questions, comments, concerns, or poetry about Sarah J. Maas-A-LONG? House of MAAS-A-LONG, House of Flame and Shadow, Crescent City, ACOTAR. We did a lot of work here, people. I just want us to be proud of that.
Wait, I have a great quote to end us on.
Okay, great. Because I was going into my monologue. So go ahead. Take it away, Erin.
An otter in a bright yellow vest leapt onto the quay, dripping everywhere. It rose onto its hind legs in front of Therian, whiskers twitching, spraying droplets of water. Cynthia grinned. "Stop it," Therian muttered. "It only encourages them to be cuter."
See, I for sure thought that they were going to be together, but
yeah.
But they were. Him and the otters.
Okay, continue on with your. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. I love that. I forgot that even happened. Monologue. So it was just going to be the great job, guys. Like literally, like great job, buds. We did it. Catherine's a quote queen. I feel like this is the summary of the monologue. Like we read a lot, we learned a lot. I feel like we're more prepared. When the next one comes out, maybe we'll all try and do a buddy.
Oh, not cutting out at the last second.
At the last second.
I mean, I guess I'm happy it happened now.
Yeah. Well, great job, everyone. Thank you all for joining.
Yep.
Oh no.
But now we can't leave.
We can't leave because we can't end the live.
Well, yeah, we could leave, but the live would still be going.
Hey. It wouldn't be alive if like my internet didn't go out. So that note.
Your internet said it's time to wrap this up.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I'm in a whole different like location. Like I'm literally in South Carolina right now, but my internet still doesn't work. Like maybe it's my computer. Sing us a song, you'll be man. Yeah. Good night, everybody.
We should buddy read.
Till the bit. Yeah, I was trying to say maybe we'll buddy the next book that comes out.
ACOTAR.
Yeah, I feel like we can do that for us. It's no pressure, low stress.
Yes.
What a read-along,
What a time to be alive.
Wow, we've been doing that. Wait, when did we start?
I was trying to think of that too. I think wasn't it like literally November or like October?
It must have been before that.
I think it was like September.
Let me see if I can find it.
Because we finished it. We finished Throne of Glass. Well, I finished Throne of Glass December 31st.
Yeah, because we started ACOTAR. ACOTAR was our first book of this year.
Yeah.
I had such gusto when we started this, and I feel like now I'm just like,
well, it is so many books.
This is the only time I will be fully just caught up with every SJM book. You know what I mean?
We started on September 4th.
It was 16 books. Wow.
9-4. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Anyway, continue.
No, you're good.
You're good.
All caught up with SJM books and never again, Sarah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did it though, like against your better judgment, because you were like, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna like these, and you still read them anyway.
And I still didn't really. I mean, most of them I didn't like.
You liked ACOTAR though.
That's true. I mean, I didn't like.
Well, you didn't like ACOTAR, but you liked.
I liked it from ACOWAR on.
There you go.
Well, Frost and Starlight, that's a different story.
Yeah. But. And you liked Assassin's Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think about Throne of Glass the most.
I do too, especially the last 3 books.
I don't know if it's my fave. I honestly still think the first Crescent City was my favorite, but yeah. that was the end of the thought. But I think about Throne of Glass a lot, and I think about those characters.
I love them. Oh my god. Okay. I love them. I mean, I know ACOTAR is ACOTAR, but like for a cast of characters, Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
Just kiss.
Yeah. Well, I'm still not really convinced all the characters in ACOTAR actually like each other, so.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
They're just kind of colleagues.
They're colleagues,
like, we're the inner circle. And I'm like, okay, but if you didn't have the jobs that you have, would you actually talk to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like having
you guys have to name yourselves the inner circle.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the kind of friends that when they graduate high school, they're like, actually, we never speak to each other ever again.
Yeah. It's like The Office, like it's shot like The Office as a confessional.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, I haven't seen them in years. It's weird. It's like
real.
500 years later.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, what was that girl's name? Amryn?
Yeah. Which Throne of Glass, like, not all of them like each other, but they're like they don't try and pretend to be anything other than what they are to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, yeah, we're leaving. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us. If you have been here the whole time, if you haven't and you just randomly popped in, also thanks for that. So perhaps we'll see you again when the next book comes out. And if not, we'll see you on the internet. We love you so much. And talk to you later. Bye.